Alright guys, so a couple of things went down on the latest episode of Monday Night Raw. What I really want to focus on is the heavily anticipated face-to-face between Roman Reigns and CM Punk. This was their first time in the ring together since CM Punk made that comment about burying Roman next to his father. So expectations were pretty high for this. Everyone was focused on what Roman was going to say and how he was going to respond. Now personally, I'm not gonna lie, I was not the biggest fan of this segment. And that's not to say that it was terrible or anything, it just wasn't anything groundbreaking or as intense as I think some people were expecting. At the same time though, I do think Roman was very much being Roman, and that is being the class act rage baiter that we have come to know and love. In my last video, I did mention that although it wasn't anything we haven't heard before, Punk did make some valid points, especially when it comes to how Roman has treated the bloodline over the years. But outside of that, a lot of what Punk has been saying lately, like calling Roman a part-timer, bringing up his father, or claiming that he isn't a real Samoan, it hasn't affected Roman Reigns at all. Roman even addressed that directly, saying Punk hasn't said anything we haven't heard in the last 5 years, and he would say anything just to get a reaction. And Punk kind of leans into that, even admitting that he'll say whatever he needs to in order to get the advantage. And he even takes a shot at Punk, saying that he can't even main event anything, not even internationally on a tour in Europe. He also responds to the part-time narrative by bringing AJ into the discussion, telling Punk that maybe he should learn from what the top dogs do, and even suggested that he ask his own wife for tips. And he says until Punk can bring up something new, he's not worth his time. And at one point, Roman even tries to leave the ring and Punk stops him, almost trying to assert control of the situation and tell him to stay. And after returning in the ring, Roman continues by stating he is the most successful superstar that Punk has ever been in the ring with. He goes on to say Punk isn't better looking, he's not faster or stronger than him, and then just bluntly calls him old. That seemed to be the moment that really got Punk, because that's when things turned physical and Punk pushes Roman to the ground. But still, Roman stands unfazed and he just laughs it off and continues to talk his stuff. And now, even though I didn't love this promo overall, I do think it highlighted something really interesting about their dynamic. Punk has been saying that he's in Roman's head, but honestly, in my humble opinion, it feels like quite the opposite. It kind of seems like Roman is the one getting under Punk's skin. When you think about what we know about Punk's character, he's usually the one who says whatever he wants, pushes boundaries, and gets reactions out of people. But in this case, it's not really working the same way with Roman. And I think some people expected Roman to attack Punk right away solely off of the premise that what Punk said crossed the line, but I actually think it works better for the storyline that Roman doesn't lay a finger on Punk, because if he did, it would kind of support the idea that Punk is in his head, and so far that hasn't really been the case in this feud. And even the moment where Punk stops him from leaving the ring and tells him, "My ring, my belt, my show, I tell you when you can leave and go," it kind of comes off like Punk is bothered by the fact that Roman doesn't see him as a priority. Roman also seems to be playing into Punk's possible insecurities about age, and even throws out the idea of him going down to NXT to train younger talent. And even though they're not that far apart in age, I think Roman is like, what, 40 and CM Punk is like 46, 47? It clearly struck a nerve.
No, no, I ain't old like you. I ain't old. I ain't old.
As of right now, I'd say Roman has the upper hand in this feud, and with everything we've been seeing, especially involving the Usos earlier on in the night, it feels like we are inching closer and closer toward some form of a bloodline reunion, but that's just how I see it. Let me know what you guys think about this segment. Who do you think won this round? Was it CM Punk or Roman Reigns? Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more wrestling content, and I'll see you guys next time.